been about 2 weeks since the last time I updated this. And there's been a lot of growth in here. These plants, as you can see, were just seedlings, and now they're all about, I guess, 2 to 3 inches tall. There's also a whole bunch of little insects flying around in here. Can't really see them at the moment, but I recorded a couple of them earlier, so I can just throw that up on the screen. Now that's not that they've been living in here. It's this crack around the base. And you can, I don't know if you can see it right now, but again, I recorded it a little earlier. It's dried out a bit there. So there's obviously a little bit of an opening down here. And every once in a while you can see some fire ants or something crawling up. So it's no longer sealed. Ooh, look, there's a little funky looking spider on the outside. Not that he's important, but the plants inside are doing pretty well, but of course this isn't all sealed off anymore. It is still dependent on, I'm not watering it. And there's something to be said for just watching things grow in here, although it's not properly sealed. I would like to make another one of these, which will be sealed, but I'm still thinking about how to make sure that this cracking doesn't recur. As for the two lichen terraria, there isn't really much to see. It's really the main thing to note is still nothing really neat going on. Over here, over the last couple of days we've started to, well, over the last 2 weeks, we've started to get a lot of mold growing up on this plant. And I think that's because there's no animals or anything inside to eat it. So the mold just kind of grows unchecked. So the plant's still alive, and it doesn't seem to have infected this other one, but this is something to keep an eye on. And this terrarium, which last time I looked, these were like nice new green shoots, and now they're pretty much dead, but there does look like there's a bud. I don't know if I can capture it on the camera. At the very tip, there seems to be another little green sprouting, so it's like just barely clinging to life here. The onion's doing alright. It is getting fairly mature at this point. Since it's an annual plant, I think it will eventually die. Over here, this pickle jar, plant's still alive, plenty of algae, something or other growing down here. And of course over here, still doing very well. The nothing jar has got some algae growing in it, but nothing else. The algae has continued to spread and grow, which is nice to see. And then in these two, nothing really of note. I still lack much confidence that this stuff is alive, but it's really hard to tell with this creeping fig in this state. So I took some pictures of them a few days ago, and with these it's kind of come down to just comparing pictures over time and see if there's any noticeable change, because on a day-to-day basis it isn't really apparent. And then as for this bin, we haven't taken a look at it in ages. There's plenty of water in here. There's algae kind of growing like on the surface of these. So this doesn't appear to be alive, and it's not spreading into the gap left from where I took it, so that's further evidence. But that's hardly anything new. The noticeable thing is this mat of algae and scum that's kind of taking off. And then, might be noteworthy that this vine, this was one of the same vines taken from the terrarium over there, or taken from the ground when we planted that. And so this one has died, although the grass seems to have done pretty well for itself. Whereas the ones in the terrarium are still alive. And I think that's just down to water. The terrarium retains its water even though it isn't perfectly sealed, whereas this tin can does not. So that's it for the backyard. The only interesting thing to see with these indoor terraria is that this one has started to grow a little algae. Zoom in on it. Around here in the dirt, there's a little speck of it. And this one, this one is still dead, even though we opened it up and tried to air it out. It doesn't seem to have recovered at all. Otherwise, these are all the same as usual. Well, I can't see anything here because the sun is blinding, but my hope is that the camera sees it just fine. So, this one's still alive. It's showing some of the same brownish yellow color that the other plants do. On the sides, it's a little bit greener. It's definitely more open inside as some of the leaf material is kind of decayed and died. The algae's come back a little at the bottom, I think because it's been a little cooler in the last couple of days. So I assume that means the heat hasn't killed everything. In fact, it seems to be doing well at the bottom on the back side. So there's probably enough light just everywhere at this time of year. So on the coolest side, things survive and they still get enough light. This native terrarium has still got this unusual red coloration. Otherwise, there's not a lot going on in here. So we won't dwell on it. And again, not a lot going on in here. We're mostly just showing these so we can see any progress over time. Yeah, the heat's really done a number on the terraria out here. Everything is pretty brown and dead, especially compared with the backyard, which is the same as we've seen for the last couple of weeks.